everybody, and welcome to the Orange Road. This is Blonde Beer. So yesterday I had a tournament in the Netherlands at my own club, Lotter Utrecht. And besides being the main judge and TO, I was also the reserve player. So this will be a long video talking about how the event went, how my games went, and pretty much everything else that, well, pops in my head. So I hope you guys will like this. It might be too long for some of you, but it will give you a good view of how the tournament went. So it was the first tournament we had with version 1.2, which was quite exciting because, well, I was expecting a very big meta switch because everybody's playing with new kind of armies, new kind of magic, and, well, the game should be a lot more streamlined. So I was really curious about how this would turn out actually at the event itself. So I'll talk about the rule pack first. We played with 4,000 points, so even a little bit less than the new advice point cost. But we were really curious to see how long everybody would take about their games. And since we're also looking at next year's tournaments, we just wanted to have a bit of a base test about how much time we should give each game. Plus, in my own country, we kinda like the smaller point sizes as well, so it was a good way to try stuff out in version 1.2. About the scenarios, we don't use the scenarios from the book, we have our own scenarios, and they're table focused. The biggest change is that we don't have a 0 to 20 system, but we have a 20 to 5 system, so a 15 to 5 system for the battle points, and you can get 5 points per game during the scenarios. So, for example, if you get completely destroyed, you still get 5 points, and if you can get some of the objectives, you might even get 10 points. The reason why we do this is because we try to have a little bit more casual tournament play, and by giving everybody some points to start off with, and the option to get more points during the game, we have a bigger spread of the points overall in the tournament. So it's not so if you lose your first game, you're not out of the tournament completely. You still have a chance to compete. We changed this about a year ago, and, well, the players really seem to like it. And yeah, it just makes for a more exciting tournament. So we didn't have a lot of players showing up. We only had 8 players, and we had a couple of dropouts before that, or else we would have had 12, I think. The problem there is that we are having a very big tournament next week in Germany, with a lot of Dutch players going. We have another very big tournament in the Netherlands itself the week after, and we had 2 other tournaments going on in the country at the same day. So we didn't get a lot of players, but the players we did have were very friendly. It was a very nice group, and it was a very, very relaxed day. So let's talk about the armies we had. We had my own Empire of the Sonstal mounted cavalry army. You can watch my list in the previous show. We had a Kingdom of Equitaine army, and it was what you expect, a lot of knights. We had 2 Vermin Swarm players. One had the more standard shooty, cheesy list, and the other one had a more combat focused list without shooting. We had 1 Dwarf player who also did not have any shooting at all, just combat blocks with Vanguard and Ambush. Then we had 1 Demon player who played with a lot of Rod models, cool army to look at. And then we had a Warriors of the Dark God army, which was a bit of a mixed army. And I'm probably forgetting someone. Oh yeah, an army of the Undying Dynasties as well. So the only army we had twice was the Vermin Swarm army, where they were both really different, so that was pretty cool. So let's have a look at my first game. So my first opponent was Leon, and he had quite a nasty Vermin Swarm army, and I was a bit worried for mainly 2 reasons. He played Spoony a couple of days ago with this army, and he completely destroyed Spoony. And Spoony is not the worst player in the world, so that was a bit scary. I mean, Spoony can actually play. So the other reason is this army had a shit ton of stuff, that just completely ignores armor. And well, the main power in my list is the armor save. So yeah, scary matchup. Let's look at his list. He brought an Abomination, he brought a Doom Wheel. Yeah, you can't see him here because he hid him behind the big unit, but he brought some of the Globadiers. He brought some slave units, some giant swarm units, and of course the Death Star with the Plague Monks. And of course, as you can see, the Plague Pendulum, or whatever it's called now, is straight in the middle. And that thing will hurt my army a lot. Still, I don't have a lot of choice here. I need to engage him as fast as possible because my army will just completely shoot me from the table if I don't. So, I forgot to take a picture from my own deployment, but you'll see in the next slide how it goes because I got the first turn and I really needed the first turn. Alright, here's the first shot of my army after the first movement phase. As you can tell, I pushed everything forward as fast and as far as possible because I really need to engage him. I think he made a mistake with his deployment because he deployed in the center of the board, giving me the option to just rush him. I think if he would have hidden behind some of the impassable terrain or in the corners, I would have had a way more problems getting into his lines. But here it went pretty okay. So let's have a quick look at my army for the people who didn't watch my video about it. I've got a big block of knights in core with great weapons, then 2 small units of 5 with a lance and shield. I'm bringing 2 times 5 Knights of the Sun Griffin, and I got 2 of the boost wagons, just to help my army get a little bit more nasty in combat. For characters, I just have a prelate with a scroll and a great weapon, and my character is a knight commander as a general with the Sunstall and a potion of speed, and a BSB with just a 1-up save, the hero sword, and the black helmet to give him fear. So here we have a bit more detailed shot on the left side of the board. I moved up my riders because I was hoping that he would use his Doom Wheel to focus on them instead of on my Knights of the Sun Griffin, because that thing is scary. So I was pretty much just hoping for a beginner's mistake here. I did take some pot shots with the pistols, but it didn't do actually anything. I'm also boosting up my units with some buff spells from the altars, because his army can actually fight. I need to make certain that if he charges me, I don't kill myself. So this is a ballsy move, but when you do stuff like this, try to ensure that you at least have a fighting chance if he surprises you. So we then had Leon's first turn. As you can see, he's moving up his blocks a bit to try to slow me down, try to chaff me up, and then the shooting starts. To be honest, his shooting wasn't really that effective. He did kill a couple of the Knights of the Sun Griffin, but I could really take most of the punishment. His magic also didn't do a lot. I could stop most of the spells, and he casted one spell that just didn't do anything, so I could just let that one go. And yeah, that gave me enough defense to wither the storm of magic without using my scroll. So it was then my turn again. This was the start of it. I didn't take a lot of pictures of this game. My apologies again, being the TO as well and being the reserve player. It takes a lot of time, so I had to skip some of the time on taking pictures and stuff. So I charged his Doom Wheel with my Knights of the Sun Griffin. I also charged all his chaff. Yes, it's annoying, but hey, I have to get rid of it because I don't have the range damage to take care of them in another way. So I took the bait. My Knights of the Sun Griffin completely destroyed his Doom Wheel because I gave him the No Die Enemy buff, so they had +2 initiative, so they went before the wheel, so he couldn't really do a lot of damage. He did kill one more knight, but hey, did give me the option to reform. My knights in the little red block completely destroyed them, giving me the chance to reform them, and the Knights of the Sun Griffin on the other side just started fighting his slaves. At the end we have this situation. As you can see, I'm in 2 of his big red blocks. I reformed a bit with some post-combat reforms, and yeah, things are looking quite nice for me. I just need to take a couple of bits of more shooting and then try to take care of his big Death Star. So in his turn he does a little bit more shooting. He adds the Abomination into the combat with the Knights of the Sun Griffin, but I killed them without too much problem, just having the Abomination stuck there. I reform my army a bit, and then pretty much I can add my knights in the combat with his big Death Star, and this is pretty much where we decide who will win this game. And this is also pretty much the part my opponent makes a very big mistake. He challenges me with his Lord on the Plague Pendulum. And well, pretty simple, I just take that challenge with my unit champion. So yeah, he really kills the unit champion with a lot of overkill. But this means that my Knight Marshal with the Sunstall and all my characters and pretty much the entire unit can just hammer on his own standard unit. And they devastate his unit, pretty much neutering the unit besides the character on top. So the next rounds I just keep on buffing my units, and I have my buff wagons there as well, and I can just start finishing that unit off. So he decides not to challenge anymore with his Plague Lord, and the combination of my Lord, my characters, and just the unit with the great weapons simply kill it off. So after that unit is destroyed, I pretty much clear up the rest of his army. I mean, my brave Knights of the Sun finish the Abomination. I take out his war machines, and he has basically nothing left on the table, and he surrenders. So I started this tournament with a very big win, and one I actually didn't really expect to see. So yeah, pretty chuffed with my first game. After this game we were waiting for everyone to finish up their games. Seemed that everybody was having fun. We had a few guys got some very big wins, but a lot of games also were a bit drawish, so we had a nice spread of the results. And we all went out to get some dinner at the local market, and we all ate lunch together, so it's always fun. And then it was time for my second game, and my second game was really lucky for me. So my next opponent was Rick, who also had a very big win. Rick was not a very active tournament player. He usually just plays with friends, but he decided to join us at the club to try out a tournament. And he had the bad luck to play against me in this round. And bad luck is serious bad luck for him, because he brought a completely infantry-based dwarven army without any war machines. So it's all about ambush and vanguard. Well, that's usually a pretty tough list to play against. The problem, of course, is that my entire army is mounted, so he actually can't engage my army unless I let him. So yeah, this was a very tough matchup for him. So you can see his army here. He had a big block of greybeards with vanguard. He had a semi-big block of warriors with great weapons. He had a very big block of slayers, also with vanguard and slayer characters. And he had some ambushing miners. So we deployed like usual. But I actually gave him the first turn, because I had a feeling about his plan. And I soon realized that I was right. He didn't actually move his army the first turn. The only thing he moved up was his block of slayers to grab one of the objectives. So this scenario is based around these objectives, these markers you can see. At the start of the game you roll off which of the colored markers becomes active. In this case it was the orange markers. So he put on his big block on one of the markers, and I already knew I was not going to touch that. Pretty much because everything I will throw into those seekers will get killed. Yes, I can kill the unit, but it will take me a lot of points to take it down. And I'm better off to just ignore it, ignore that one objective, and just focus on the rest of his army and grab the other two orange markers. So in my turn I just push my army forward, just out of his charge range, well, at least his safe charge range, and I throw just some buff spells on there just to be certain, and I just give him the second turn. And again, it's very hard for him to actually do anything here, so he just moves up quite a bit, still those Seekers on the marker, and yeah, not a lot happens. In my turn, I just move up even closer, and yeah, I'm pretty sure he's going to charge something with a risky charge, and he does, but he doesn't actually get it. And then I can just throw in my army and start slaughtering stuff. So the combat's at the center with his blocks. There's not a lot to talk about. I just slowly grind them out using my better armor save and the magical power I've had to just get some combat boss on there as well. And yeah, pretty much take care of that part of the board without too much problem. He used his ambushing miners to get on the table near the other objective here in the corner, but after killing the units here, I just turned my army around and moved up that way so I could get that unit as well and also get the markers. Still, the Seeker's safe there just in the corner, and well, the game is pretty much done at this point. I've killed most of his army, I've also got most of the objectives, so I've got a nice 17 points, and yeah, I'm happy with that. So my next opponent is Sebastian. I've played him before, a battle report before this one to be exact, and he's playing a nice Equitaine again. So the scenario here was to get scoring units on the other side of the table. We each had the same amount. We both have a completely mounted army, so this would become a very weird game. So here's the deployment. He moved one of his units on the right side of the board, while most of his army was on the left side of the board, and he added his Lord on the Hippogriff on the right side. Because I think his idea was to try to get my army to break up, because he already knows it's all about the synergy in my army, and if he can get some units away from the main buffing part of the army, he can take them down. But I decided to just move up all the way into the right corner and just go get some points there, and then try to stick in that side of the table and just contest the objectives there. I would have one more scoring unit then, and I would win the game. So in my turn, I just go over. I give him the first turn, by the way. Sorry, my mistake. And he pushes up a bit. After that, I push up way more, and I go full for the kill. Yeah, the stuff on his left side is not doing a lot, but he is moving up his characters, and I'm giving him some charges, pretty much to just draw him out. I'm lucky because he failed his charge with the Lord on the Hippogriff on my knights, giving me the chance to charge him, and in the combat I get some wounds through on him. Combined with the buff wagon that's hanging around, yeah, I can just slowly push damage through, combined with some extra spells. In the middle you can see my big block moving up, getting all those buffs near each other, and he slowly starts moving his army on the left side to try to flank me. Pretty much not a lot happens. We fight a bit. I just keep on moving my army, taking care of some of his chaff. Not really that exciting at the moment. It's an exciting game, but not a lot is happening. And then we get to the point where we can actually start charging, and then it gets exciting. So he gets his night boss in my Knights of the Sun Griffin. They're already destroyed at this point, but I did get some extra wounds on them and on his Lord. But it gave me the ability to flank him with most of my army. As you can probably guess, I completely destroyed that unit. And he's now looking at a situation where his Lord is wounded and he has most of his army on the other side of the table. So he decides to pretty much move everything out of the way and get as far away as possible from me and just hide on the other side of the table. So I either try to get on the other side of the table as well, but then I lose my option to score because I will be out of the objective range and I might get countercharged. So I either take a very big gamble to get a win, probably a small win, or I stay at my side of the table as well and get a draw. So Sebastian and me are both ETC style players, so we both play as safe as possible. So we called it a draw here. He also had to go home a little bit early, so no problem. Yeah, it was a nice game. It was a 10-10 at the end. This also means that the tournament is now over. We had 3 rounds. So scoring wise, I had enough points to get to first place, but hey, I'm the reserve player, so my scores don't count. I'm automatically lost. Aww. Sebastian with his Knights of Equitaine got first place now, and the Dwarven hold player I played got second place, so I played both the second place and third place, or first place, second place, depends on how you look at it. So yeah, it was a pretty exciting tournament. I really enjoyed that most of the games went a bit faster. I do feel that there was a lot of people not going for magic. I myself only had bound spells, and most of the guys had limited magic or no magic. I think we only had 3 armies with guys with more than 4 or 5 real spells. I'll have to look at it again because, hey, I'll need to dig in those army lists. So the next tournament I'm attending is the Night Age Masters. That's next week, and that's a very big event, so I will do a lot of covering about that. I'll also have a look at most of the lists. They should be published today. I'll talk about my own team, the list we're bringing, the way we're going to look at the event, and how we're traveling, etc. So yeah, there's a lot of content coming about the Night Age Masters, and I'll see you all on those shows. Alright everybody, thanks for listening, and bye.